hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Into the Pit. I'm so happy to welcome Rhonda Hale, who's, if you haven't heard, is on a podcast called Help Me Rhonda. And let me tell you what, it's hilarious. I got to meet her on Instagram and we instantly became friends because we're both goofballs and, you know, we're both so beautiful, but yet there's so much more to us than that. And Rhonda, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much for having me on, Kyle. It is a pleasure to be here. Yes, I actually, aside from my podcast and my Instagram, I am a bridal couture bridal tailor. And what I do is I'm in West Hollywood and I work on wedding dresses, tailoring them by hand to my brides. I've done that for decades. And through the process of being a bridal tailor, I've come across some really, really, really funny stories and very, very crazy, like seriously crazy situations, as well as weird things that happen at weddings, like very Jerry Springer kind of stuff sometimes, and just crazy, crazy stuff. And so in September, I started a podcast called Help Me Rhonda, and it's R-O-N-D-A, no H in my first name.
Get it right, people.
And yeah, everybody wants to put that traditional H in there. It's just 5 letters, R-O-N-D-A. Anyway, on my podcast, I go into telling the stories that the crazy, crazy things I've ran across. And I've just kept a diary over the years. And so I'll either, I get started and I'll say, hey, tell me your love story. And if there's some good ones in there, I make notes on their invoice and I save it for later. And then I've been doing that on the podcast, which actually has been doing quite well. It's just done better than I ever thought it would. And it's getting more and more popularity and I'm very thankful. So besides being a couture bridal tailor and having my podcast, another thing that is a little bit different is that I do happen to be a psychic medium. And if you have any of those gifts, you'll know that that's not something you can pick about yourself. It's just you have it. And so there's a lot of times that I'm in session with a bride and I will be doing a fitting, and obviously they came to me for a fitting, not a reading, and their dead grandmother, just suddenly shows up in the corner of the room, and they're starting to go into all these details and things I want to talk to about, whether it's, I love them, she's beautiful, look how beautiful she is, she's grown up to be so smart, or they have information of like, this lady at your office is stealing files from you, or, and so I have to find this really non-awkward way to tell them that their grandmother is in the room with us. And so that also is in my podcast. And I discuss the psychic stuff that just like happens. I mean, it's all the stuff that happens before you walk down the aisle. Crazy, crazy, crazy things. And it's really, really been very fun.
So it's kind of like that Teresa Caputo kind of,
yeah.
Somebody's trying to tell me something. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
Have you had anybody freak out and just want to run out the door?
I've had, to be honest, Kyle, I've had people become very, very uncomfortable. And the very first episode that I've ever talked about it, I believe it was episode 5, I think. And I was actually in a client's home, and I was doing her tailoring for some red carpet event. She wasn't a bride, but I was there, and her dead grandmother showed up, and most of them, when they show up, they're very, at least to me anyway, they're very loud and they're very persistent. They just keep going on and on and on. Hey, tell her I'm here. Tell her I'm here. Tell her I'm here. Hey, I've got things to say. Tell her this. Tell her this. And they just won't stop. And so for me to find a gentle way to tell a person while there's another person yelling at you, like over here, without completely sounding like a nutcase, it's definitely a challenge. And yeah, I have some that freak the fuck out. And they'll just be like, no, don't let me out of it. That kind of stuff scares me. That's satanic. I don't want to get involved in that. Blah, blah, blah. And they just freak out. And I'm like, was your grandmother a Satan worshiper in real life? Do you know anything about that? They're like, no, okay. Well, she's not now either. She just doesn't have a body to be in. That's all. She's still alive. And so you just have to kind of get through it. And I'm just, because these people, when they I almost feel like when they find somebody that they can communicate with and tell these things to, that there's a sense of like, oh my God, I have a connection now to my loved one. You know, somebody I've been protecting while they're driving like a maniac, or you know, keeping them out of harm's way, and I have a way to talk to them and say, stop polishing your nails while you're driving, or you know, whatever they need to say. And they don't they just don't stop. So even if I have a bride or a person that's freaking out and they're like, I can't handle this whole paranormal thing, that doesn't help me at all, because sometimes long after the person leaves, like my client will leave, their relative still stays with me and won't leave me alone until I contact the person. So I'll usually have to like text them later and say, hey, I know it felt heavy for you, but there is something they want to tell you, and they do love you, and there is nothing to be afraid of. It's the same person who loved you in life. They're exactly the same. They just want to let you know that, you know, your left rear tire is getting ready to blow out, you know, so could you get that looked at? And then it's funny because they'll go and check the left rear tire, and the guy at the tire store will say, wow, this is getting ready for a blowout. Good thing you brought it in. And then of course I'll get the call back and they're like, okay, so what else did she have to say? You know,
now I'm curious. Where's the money hidden? What's the lottery numbers?
Exactly. Oh my God, so many people ask me that. I'm like, sorry. If I knew the lottery numbers, I would ask them myself.
And if you have that information, please share it with me.
Oh, I'd be more than happy. Please. We all deserve to win the lottery. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Serious question here.
Yeah, shoot.
And I don't know if you can explain it or not, but
I'll do my best.
What exactly is it like when you encounter these spirits? Because I mean, I don't know. It's been a curiosity of mine all my life. I hear people say,
sure.
"Oh, I talked to this person, and I've talked to this
right.
person." I mean, do you physically see them, or you just hear them? You know, is it?
Everybody is a little different. I know. I have heard other people that have the gift of sight. You know, depending on what part of the country or part of the world you're from, it's called different things. I have found that it's easiest for me to say psychic medium, because psychic means that I can channel and connect to, you know, that intuition that some people say that they're, you know, they get these strong gut feelings and such. But when you're a medium, that means that you can actually communicate with someone that's already passed on. So for me, I don't encounter them. They encounter me. They come to me. And it's, in general, it's when I am one-on-one with somebody, or even talking on the phone with people. I've had their relatives come, and like if I'm in the car driving, for example, and I've talked to brides on the phone, talking to them about their dress, giving them quotes, you know, explaining the process of bingo, their grandmother's sitting in the car with me while I'm driving on the freeway. And I can see their physical person. Even if I close my eyes, I still see an image of exactly what they're wearing, what age they're showing themselves to be. Many times they'll come and they're not at the age that they passed, but they're whatever age that they want to project. I've had, like, my dad, when my dad comes to me, my dad, he'll show up when he is in his early 20s in his old Navy uniform. And he didn't die when he was 20. He died when he was 42. But wow. So they kind of show themselves, however. But what I have noticed is that, at least for me, is that when they are talking to me, say, for example, and they are with, I kind of feel like in my situation, the brides, when I'm dealing with brides, women who are getting married are going through a very it's a very life-changing event. Whether that marriage ends up lasting or not, it will change your life. You know,
it's very emotional.
Yes, it's very emotional. It's a very emotionally charged event. And that, you know, your defenses are more, you know, a little softer. They're more down. And with that particular phase of your life, for example, the bride's loved one, whoever's their I call them their guardian angel. And the only reason I call them these things is when the relative comes to me, they'll say, oh, I'm her guardian angel, or I'm her grandmother, I'm watching over her, or they'll call themselves whatever they want to be called. And so when they come, if they have, some of them are very, very emotional, some are very stoic, some are very, whatever their personality was in life, in general, they're gonna portray that same emotion. So I've had ones that are very melancholy, weepy, just very emotional. They want to cry. They're so happy. They're actually able to make contact. And so they do kind of, I guess, infuse me with whatever those emotions and feelings that they're feeling. So if one comes and they're somebody who is very, you know, they're just a crybaby. They cry at everything, birthdays, weddings, everything. They're gonna cry now. So they come in. I have this well of emotion that I cannot control, and I will start crying. And I'll keep apologizing, like, I am so sorry. I don't want to cry, but I'm feeling all the emotions of your loved one, and so I'll feel those emotions. Like last night, I had a bride, and for example, and she had been listening to my podcast, and she had found my podcast even before she found me, which was very strange. And so we're in there, her dress is done, you know, her first fitting was finished. She was with her best friend, and she goes, that is so crazy, the whole psychic part. Your other stories are really funny. Like, they're listening to Spooning Gone Wrong, a short story. That's a good one.
That's my favorite.
That's hilarious. I think that might be.
You have to tell that story.
That is definitely one of my top stories. No psychic business in that one, but she was telling me how she liked it. But then she said, like, we listened. She goes, her and her friend listened to a couple of the psychic ones. She's like, that's so fucking crazy. She goes, man, I wish somebody would show up here with me. And I said, well, you do have somebody here. I could see her the whole time. And she goes, wait, what? And I said, yeah, she's been here for like the past 45 minutes. And she goes, oh my God. Oh my God. And she started kind of freaking out, even though she said, I wish somebody would show up. And then when I told her she did have a woman here. And so she said, who is it? And I said, well, on the spirit side, a lot of times they'll say, I will tell them he has a grandmother energy or a mother or a father energy. And the reason I say that is because oftentimes they loved you like a grandmother. They might be an extended grandmother. They might be whatever, but they think of themselves and love you as a grandmother or a grandfather, whatever. And I said, well, she has a grandmother energy, and may I describe her physical attributes to you? She said, yes, yes, yes. And I said, well, have you ever watched Golden Girls? She's like, yeah. And I said, she looks just like Maud. She looks just like Maud. She's like about this tall. She's very stoic. She's really kind of her like how she talks is very barbered, and she's all like lays it out there. And so I just kept started saying all the things that this woman was saying. She goes, well, now she's listening to me. And she was kind of a brat. Well, Maud is a brat.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But like here, she kept telling her, she goes, can you just tell her that she keeps second guessing herself all the time? And I'm sick of it, because she's not second guessing herself. She's second guessing me. That kid hasn't had an original thought. Everything she thinks of is me. And I was like, how can I tell her? That's so fucking rude. And I said, well, the way she's coming across is kind of brisk and very abrupt. She goes, oh, that's her. She goes, oh, we have a connection. She's like, oh, we have a connection. That's my grandmother. I said, okay, well, she looks like her. And she's telling you that you've never had an original thought in your life. And she says that you second guessing yourself is not second guessing you. You're second guessing her, and fucking stop it. She goes, oh yeah, you got her. You got my grandmother. Yeah, that's her. It was really like, okay, that's a relief. And so then her grandmother started telling her all these things about her work and how to address some of the management issues apparently she's been having. And she's like, oh, this makes perfect sense. This makes perfect sense. And so I said, well, she says if you have questions for her to go ahead and ask. She's like standing with her hands on her hips, you know, you can just imagine.
Get her done.
And yeah, and she's like, you know, if she has any questions, let me know. So the girl had a few questions for her regarding certain bosses. And she's like, okay, when this one says that, don't take it. Da, 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 da. It's only because da, 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 da. And then she'll tell them about this other person. And she's just very specific. And that's just usually how they are. But then I will have some who are maybe not, their personalities aren't quite as explosive, you know, and they will have maybe suffered their whole life from emphysema or back died with, you know, crippled, very difficult to walk or in a lot of physical pain. And I will feel a wave of physical pain that is almost overwhelming. And I will have a very difficult time breathing. And I will say, I am having a really, really hard time breathing. And I feel like before she died, if she didn't die with some respiratory problems or emphysema or something, I feel like she's just wanting you to know that the pain that she felt, she no longer feels. And then as soon as I say that, the pain will leave my body. But I do actually feel those things. Wow. So I guess that's what that is like. And then I have had a number of occasions. I don't know if I've told you this. You know, we became friends. Obviously, we are IG Instagram friends. You know, we found a friendship there. But I think I may have told you that my daughter Zoe, she's also psychic, and she is a psychic medium as well. But she's also an empath, and so she has another layer of gift on there. And sometimes if I have, well, here's kind of a weird thing. I think it would be the most recent episode, I think episode 21, maybe, Medea's Ghost and a Pickpocket Bride. That was the most recent one. And I was, we recorded the podcast, and then the day before it aired, I was laying in bed. My daughter came, she laid in bed with me, and we're both watching the episode, and she's like listening to it. And while she was watching the video, because my daughter has the same gift that I do, and when we're together, our gift becomes very strong because we're together. And while she was watching the video, I didn't tell my daughter that the lady was in there while it was being filmed, but I knew where she was standing. So she was standing over this side, and she was so tall you couldn't see her because she was very, very, very tall, almost 6 foot tall. And my daughter says, oh, there she is right there. I can see her. She's like, she can't see her whole self. She cuts off about here. I said, yep, there she is. And then through the rest of the show for that particular episode, I started talking about a different meeting with a different grandma that came. So many grandmothers come, but another one. And she goes, oh, and she's over there. I can see her. And then after the movie, after we were finished watching the YouTube version of the podcast episode, we shut it off, and the two ladies were in the bedroom with us. And so they will come sometimes and just be there. And a lot of times they have so much gratitude, at least in my personal experience and Zoe's as well. They'll have so much gratitude for being a vessel or a bridge to connect, you know, this loving connection to their loved one, that they will oftentimes come to me and ask me, is there anything you need? Can I do something for you? Thank you for allowing yourself to be a vessel or a bridge so that I could connect, you know, to my granddaughter. And, you know, I think that that's a very beautiful thing. It kind of shows me that love, it just doesn't die, and that gratitude is still there. And I have so much gratitude to be able to connect people, because it's life changing when something like that happens. You never feel alone again, you know?
So Do you put up barriers around your home? Like, okay, I'm in this room. This is my peaceful room. Don't come in here. Don't bother me. Because I
Oh
know
no, not at all.
it's all open.
No, no. I think that through the years I've learned that it's really important for me to maintain a very, very, very high vibration. I'm very conscious of um, connecting with light, meditating daily, keeping my vibration high. And that way, when you keep a higher frequency, um, other um entities or paranormal visitors that would be able to come through as they did many, many years ago before I learned that, cannot physically be disruptive or hurt you, because they can hurt you. I've been hurt from them before physically. Um,
Tell
I've been
me
pushed
about
down
it.
stairs before. Was that?
He said, "Tell me about it. I have
Yeah.
scars to prove it."
Yeah. Some of the more negative things, like if your vibration isn't high enough, and you're dwelling in a lower vibration, and you're letting, your human experience, in a human experience, we can't control certain things, shit happens, right? You can be as happy and positive as possible, but some things out of your control happen. And those are growth opportunities, and they're a blessing. But if you allow yourself to focus on the negative of that experience and say, why is this happening to me? And allow yourself to be swallowed up in the misery of something you do not enjoy, that in effect is going to lower your frequency, lower your vibration. And when your vibration is low, you become vulnerable to other paranormal entities, people. They're people. They are people. They just don't have a body, who are going to come, and they could physically hurt you or cause you harm. And it's very, 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 very real thing. Very, very real thing. I've been pushed from behind. You can feel a hand pushing you, like down the stairs. I had my hands holding a laundry basket, almost completely fell down the stairs. And I knew that there was an old man who was in the home. It was a haunted house. It was a house I lived in that was haunted by an old man. And he was just very angry, disgruntled, very low vibration entity. And that was, hey, so how many years ago was that? So, how many years ago was that when we lived in the house with that old man haunted the house with you and I? You were in the 4th grade, weren't you? Or no, 5th. So no, it would have been earlier than that. So I would say like probably about 2000, no, it would have been 12, 13, 2013, 2014. We lived in a house, and there was a very angry entity that lived there. My daughter and I lived in this big 3-bedroom house, really beautiful home. And he was really pissed off that we were there. He didn't want anybody there. The house had been vacant for some time. And that was before I understood the importance of a higher vibration to protect yourself. And once I did that, I no longer experienced those, the vulnerability that you can experience. So now if I were to go, say, on a paranormal investigation, say with a team or something, which I have never done, but I would be very open to it now.
You're gonna go with us.
Yay! I love it. I would not feel vulnerable, because I am able, like you asked, are there certain areas you put a barrier, a wall or something? And what I do, really, it's not really truly a barrier. Of course, I cover myself and immerse myself in white light, source energy. But aside from that, maintaining a high vibration, it's quite simply just like a radio frequency on the dial of your radio. If you're set to 103.5, you cannot get 105. You just can't. It won't happen. And so you can still listen to the radio though, but you're not going to be listening to 105. So in my case, should I choose to connect or try to channel someone for somebody, I just keep my frequency high, and I can still hear what they have to say. I remember looking at one of your one of the people who follow you, I think they're, God, what are they? They're this group of, I cannot believe I can't remember their name. I follow them just as well as you. They're a group. They're here. They're in. I think they're in Texas as well. They're Latinos. They're just cool group of
Midnight
people.
Paranormal Society.
Yes, Midnight Paranormal Society.
Yes,
I love
Mike
those
Cardenas.
guys. Freaking love them. So
Mike is awesome.
Oh, they're freaking awesome. And so I was watching one of their videos, and there was a video of a hallway, and they had, I think they had captured some sound or something. And just by me watching that video, I was able to connect with the woman who was in the video. And so I messaged him directly, and I said, hey, just to let you know, I gave him some background on the person who was in there. And I said, this is what she was dealing with. This is who she was. This is why she said that in the thing. And then there was another video I saw, and it was a child on that one that came through. And I was like, and on this other video, I think he asked me maybe, hey, on this one, do you make a connection? I did. And I said, hey, that's a little boy, and da 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 da. And I just gave him the information of the person that I like to call them people, because they, they're on the other side. They don't have a body, but they're people. And so I told him about him, and he's like, that is amazing, because after they did it, they did some research and found out that what I told them was actually accurate. And so even though, say you, Kyle, or someone on your team would go and do an investigation, you're unable, you don't have that third eye or that third ear on your head or something, and so you can't see it, hear it, or in that way, but you have, you got your spidey sense, you get those goosebumps, and you're like, ooh, some shit's going down. I can feel this, and with that, it is something that I strongly recommend that, and I think you always do go in with somebody who is, a medium, a psychic medium of some sort that is white light protected, so that you guys can be offered some protection, because otherwise there can be some very nasty little things that can happen and they will follow you home. They'll follow you home with a thought even. So even if they don't, it's not like they hop in your car and go home with you, but once you get home, if you reminisce and you're thinking about something that happened, they will instantly come. Just like when I was watching that replay of the video, when I was even discussing that other ghost in my podcast just from last week, my daughter and I were listening, and there they were in our bedroom. So as long as you keep your vibrations high, and if you're doing investigations, you just want to make sure you have somebody who really truly, a lot of people say they have a gift, and they have a gift to a degree, but just be really careful about, going in with somebody who can really help you and say, hey, now would be a good time. We probably should leave. Because if there is a person in your group that's a weak link, they could really have some bad things. That's how people that can be the culprit for car accidents and just many, many things. Because I can attribute so many things that I physically was hurt. I was shocked. They can shock you with electricity. Right. All of those things can happen. And unless you're protected and your vibration's high, you go in with all awareness of that, and then making sure that you have somebody with you who's got your back,
My thing is I don't even like looking at myself in the mirror when I get out of the shower. So I definitely don't want someone else looking in on me. And, sometimes.
Well, they are. You're never alone.
Clean areas
never alone.
Sometimes you'll clean areas a little longer than you clean the others. And, I don't want them seeing that.
Too bad. Sorry.
Okay,
none of your humanity is protected. You're definitely, we are definitely all watched.
Okay.
We're
that's
definitely
it. Like, never touching myself again.
Never.
I don't even want my wife walking in the room when I'm going to the bathroom. So now you just ruined it for me. I'm going to be constipated the rest of my life.
Exactly.
But my wife, Michelle, and
of course.
She is an empath, but she's growing her abilities. She's starting to pick up on different entities and things like that. And
right.
It amazes me how we can be watching a television show and they'll be putting on a video of wherever they were investigating, and all of a sudden she starts picking up on it.
Yeah.
And we have two friends that are mediums as well that are on the team, and they pick up the same stuff. They'll be
Yeah.
talking about it. You
Yeah.
know, oh, hey, did this happen? Did this happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. I don't know how to.
Yeah, it's just well, it's just that the gift of being a psychic or having those type of gifts, it does tune you into things that are here already right now. And if you are somebody who has that gift and you're with another person who has that gift, the likelihood of them being able to detect it is very, very, very high.
See, my only abilities is being a psycho. So,
Well, whatever you do, be your best. Do your best.
I do have a great gift for telling bad dad jokes.
Yeah, you do. We forgive you.
Hey, when you got grandkids, you have to come up with clean jokes all the time. So, I can't tell my grandson, who's 9 years old, a dirty joke.
Nah.
So why did the dolphin cross the bay? To get to the other tide.
Oh, that's another
Come
one.
on, I thought that was
good
funny.
one. Another good one.
That was funny. Okay, now that I've lost my
clever.
audience.
Maybe. Maybe. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
So when you do discover that you have these abilities.
That's a little bit. Anything else? Say that again.
I said, when you do discover that you have these abilities, how do you actually perfect them and make them grow? That's another thing that I'm curious about.
Some people do. Some people are incapable.
Audio.
Making them grow because they doesn't. Can you hear me? I think it froze there for a minute, but yeah. I think it's because not everybody's going to be capable of developing to the same strength, I guess, because even though we have legs and we can walk and we can run a little, not everybody's going to be a competitive runner. So everybody has different capabilities. And with that kind of gift, I think that in my case, I consult a lot with the amazing people on the other side who are with me all the time. And the ones that come in after I've read a bride, I will ask them the deeper questions and ask for some clarity on things that like life after death, and ask them about reincarnation. And I have also found we all have we associate with either being gay or straight or pan or bi and all that. And I found that I've had a curiosity that, hey, how is that connected to maybe be reincarnated? And I have had that conversation with probably, I would say, a handful of people who are on the other side, and ask them, and they all say the same thing. And so those kind of things, I might be straying from your original question, but being able to have a conversation with somebody on the other side, not everybody may be able to do that. And it just, everybody has something that they're going to be better at. And I just feel grateful and thankful and blessed that I've been given this gift. I know my grandmother had it, my mother had it, I have it, and my daughter has it. Line that's been passed down. And it does tend to get stronger and stronger the more I use it, the more I'm open with it and don't hide it. It really, really intensifies when I am near my daughter's in the other room. So she's at my office here with me today. And
You
doing some of
just
her stuff.
bump fist
And
and say, Wonder Twin powers,
pretty
activate.
much, yeah, I would have to say that's pretty accurate almost. And so when we are together, my strength gets much, much stronger. Although we do get very much the same information from the people on the other side, we receive it in different formats. But the result of the information is very consistent. And so it's really cool. It's a really cool, I find it to be a real amazing blessing.
Well, I'm an open book with everyone, and I don't hide the fact that I did spend some time in a mental facility, and from the time I was little, there would be occasions where I would hear voices speaking into my head.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sounded like it was right here, either
Yeah.
calling my name or is trying to say something.
Mm-hmm.
How do you distinguish if you're going cuckoo or if this is an actual ability?
Well,
Because I
in
spent
my
time in
case,
the. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I mean,
oh no, you're fine.
I spent time in hospital because
Right,
I was hearing all these voices, but they were telling me to do things that I
right,
knew weren't right.
right. Well, I think that is simply uh, um, just needing not medical, but I guess mental help from a doctor or professional. Um, but I think that I'm not in any way an expert. All I know is what I see and hear. And I guess the thing that helps me know that what I'm seeing and hearing is truly other people's grandmothers, whatever, is because of they never tell me to do anything. And any information that they give me, I always verify it with their loved one, or and just say, hey, she looks like this and this. I mean, how would I see somebody, I've never met this person before, and know exactly what their grandfather or their grandmother looks like? Know, or
I think
know,
you're part robot.
family secrets, or know things, little. So that's the only thing. I don't have worries for myself on that score, only because I've been able to be validated by the person I'm reading.
Oh, I will say this, that later on, as I felt like I got better.
Yeah.
There's definitely things happening in our home that I could not explain. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I had a lazy boy chair that was upside down one morning.
Yeah.
So, I
That's
didn't do it.
right. Well, that if nobody did that, and that is just a sign of something else there. And like I said, when my daughter and I lived in that home that was haunted by that very disgruntled and very upset, angry old man, he was only able to have power to do these obnoxious things because our vibrations were lower. We didn't understand how to, or the importance of having a very, very high vibration, because if our vibrations were higher, we would know he was there, and we wouldn't have felt any ill or negative effects of his presence. He would have been powerless, because we would have been set at 103.5, not 105. And so that really is the difference,
Okay. And
is that high vibration.
when Michelle and I finally got together, and then she finally moved in, we had a medium friend that came over, and she discovered that there was a portal, vortex, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
rooms. And
Yes.
being that we were literally walking distance to the cemetery, it was not even a block from my house. She
Yeah.
said that things were coming through all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my grandfather,
Yeah, that's a real thing.
my grandfather had passed away, and there was only one thing that I wanted above anything else was his grandfather clock. I remember that from my
Yeah.
earliest memories. And we would wake up in the morning, and this clock would be laying over on its side. Now, you're familiar with grandfather clocks. They're
They're
tall,
big.
They
huge.
got
Yeah.
a heavy bass. How's this thing laid over in the middle of the night?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then I'm told, well, though you weren't hearing voices, you were experiencing people that were passing through, but they're not staying. They're coming through, making their
Right.
presence known, and they move on.
Right.
So, but my concern was, well, how was I supposed to distinguish between the two? Because I thought I was cuckoo. Well, I am cuckoo.
Right. Right. Well, I think having it verified. It's not the house you're in right now. It's a different home.
No, it's a different home. This was back when we lived close to Houston.
Yeah. Yeah. I've lived in a house that had a vortex in it as coming and going, and so yeah, uh definitely those things are true. They are accurate in my own experience. Definitely.
Can you pick up on the little boy that lives here in this home?
I don't see a little boy. There is a young man there. He's been there for some time, for probably the past 40 minutes. I would say he is about 17 years old. He looks like he's from the 1960s. He has that side comb over, the longer, the short haircut, but it kind of combs over. Yeah. And he's just a young man. He's wearing a striped t-shirt, short sleeve t-shirt with the white stripes, kind of something you'd see in the 60s or the 70s. He looks like maybe somebody you'd see on an episode of Stranger Things or something. He's there. He's been there while you've been talking all this time. He's been there for probably past, I would say, about 40 minutes.
Oh, wow. So he's the one that keeps popping his head up over the staircase.
Oh, I wouldn't know if that's him. I know that this guy is not a troublemaker. He lives there.
Well, all I know is whatever is here, or whoever, I shouldn't say whatever, whoever is here.
Whoever, yeah.
It's never been anything malicious. Nothing.
Yeah,
bad.
no, he's not. No, he's not.
But you can be sitting there watching television, and then all of a sudden the head will pop up over the stairway, or even some hands will pop up, and you'll see a little head look over.
Oh, that's not this young man. That's a different. I can't connect with that one, but I do know that this young man, he's not like that. He's pretty chill town. He's just hanging out in his corduroy. He's wearing like brown corduroy pants. He just hangs out there. He's very laid back and chill.
The one that plays with the cats?
Yes, I was just gonna say he plays with the cats. Just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. But as far as a little boy, I can't connect with that. I've been trying to. I wasn't trying to connect with him. He just showed up behind you over your right shoulder there.
25.
Yeah. Yeah. They can be little stinkers sometimes. If they're little kids, I've been in a house where they've been little kids and they hide your keys and stuff there.
I have had that happen before.
Yeah.
But here, it's nothing like that. It's just every once in a while, it just kind of makes his presence known. Just real quick, look over the stairway and then pop back down again.
That's probably, yeah. I don't think that that's this young man that's there with you in the room. I think that it must be someone else.
Wow, I didn't realize we had more than one here. But, with
Yeah.
Michelle and her abilities, and then plus my daughters, they have abilities. They seem to follow us, or they just make their presence known.
Well, of course, that's natural. Yeah, and a lot of people have people around them, and they don't even know it, and they'll never know it because they're not able to tap in. It doesn't exclude you from being able to have. Some people say, well, I probably don't have a spirit guide. I've never felt anything or said it. You definitely have a spirit guide. It's just that you maybe you don't have the ability to feel them or hear them, but they are there. Everybody has somebody.
I think it's
or even more than one person, depends. Some people have many.
I think because I don't have that ability to see and hear them like y'all do, that I get certain signs that say, hey, I'm here. Like the 1111, I see that all the time.
Right.
And I'm not looking for it. Or
right, exactly.
Different things like that.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're busy, and I appreciate you taking time out of your day to help, bring enlighten us on these things.
Thank
But
you.
you've got to tell the shark story. You have to tell that one.
Oh my God. No, I can't tell it. You guys got to listen to it. So what you got to do, the first thing you got to do is you've got to head over to Instagram and you've got to go to Help Me Rhonda Official, RONDA, and follow me there. And in my bio is a link that'll take you straight to my podcast. And I believe that's episode 2, but there's a whole bunch of them. There's some really hilarious ones in there. I've got sister wives. I've got sex worker bride.
Oh my God.
I've got so, oh my God. One before last is hilarious. It's wig snatching, spies, and lies. That's a really good one. That goes into a little bit of my own personal background. The spies and lies of my family heritage of my mom and dad. So that's kind of interesting. I did not expect that to go public, but the guest I had on that day, I guess she just went there and she asked me questions and I said, okay, I guess I am talking about this now. So that's out there. But yeah, that one was a good episode. So just, yeah, follow me on Instagram. I would appreciate a follow, and enjoy the podcast. Whoever listens, it's a kick in the pants. It's fun. I enjoy doing it, man.
It's very funny. You will enjoy it, I promise you. What is your little saying?
Laugh so hard you need to change your underwear.
That's
for sure.
right.
That's raising your vibration when you're laughing. When you are in laughter, your vibration is very, very high. And so I feel like with my podcast and with my Instagram page, I really want to do everything I can in my power to make the world a better place. And I believe that would be accomplished easiest by raising vibration. And so that's why I make an effort to provide content, whether it's on my podcast or on my Instagram page, that will lift you up, whether it's in the moment or just in general, to raise you up and just really, really lift up that vibration, because that's what's going to change things for you and really change the velocity of your life and keep it going in the direction you want it to go, by maintaining and reaching for daily a higher vibration. So that's my goal and contribution with those. So I hope it does help people. I'd love to hear back from people, see what they have to say.
I believe that's why we connected so well and we became friends, because we had that same kind of goal of let's lift people up. You bring people up
Yeah.
with you. You don't step on people to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And in fact, I wouldn't have even started a brand new network and gotten so many people interested if you hadn't have been there for me. And I really thank you.
Well, I'm really, really happy that that you took that step, because I think the concept, the parameters of what you're trying to do on your network, and also the new podcast itself that you're launching, I just think that there's just can't be enough of it. And how could you do anything wrong by not pursuing that? It's just going to lead to good things, period.
It has led me to meet so many great people, and that positive vibration that's coming from everyone has just lifted my spirits. Because the health problems that I've gone through for years, and I'm more optimistic now.
But it's like the thing. Yeah, it's healing. A high vibration, our body regenerates itself constantly. So why not raise your vibration and talk to your body and tell your body what to regenerate now? Why not? And you raise your vibration high enough, you have the ability you own your body. This body is here for you to live in, conduct in, and be in. So why not tell your body what you want? Tell your body, hey, I want you know, I want all of my discs in my back to regenerate over the next 2-3 months. I want to be able to do this, this, and this. I want, you know, you can tell your body anything. You can, and it will respond. You just, as long as your vibration is high and you connect to your own atoms, that's all it is energy. So raising your vibration to a higher level, you're able to connect with your body on an energetic level and make those changes and not dwell in the past, but create a new future for your body.
Atoms move on a vibration.
Yes, they do.
Makes sense. So,
Yeah, 100%.
everybody, you did hear that you go to help. It's what help _me _ Rhonda _
Well,
official.
it's even, you don't even need to have the underscores really. If you just put in help me Rhonda, and just don't even put any underscores, just put spaces, it'll come right up. Underscores are just to differentiate when people are logging in. But if you're searching for me, you can just put in help me Rhonda, just make sure it's RONDA, and you will find me. And I'd love to have you.
And see, you teach me something every day. I didn't realize that. See, you know how many times I've sat here and go, into _ the _ But we do have a new Instagram ourselves. It's slowly starting.
Congratulations.
It is The Vibes Broadcast, and broadcast is spelled BRODCAST instead of BROAD. So, you know, look that up. Follow
right
us.
On. Right
and,
on.
You know, we've got our Instagram. It's the Vibes Broadcast Network on Facebook, and we will be posting all of our videos and podcasts and everything on there. Look for us, help us build this and make it something really great, because there's so much great content that people need to hear. There's too much sadness and depression in this life. Let's make everyone happy again.
Yeah, easy. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, Rhonda, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy all times of day or night with all these brides.
Those wedding dresses behind me, I gotta get to them. they're waiting on me. They're calling my name.
Well, that was Miss Rhonda Hale, and I am your host, Coyote Knight, and I will be catching you again on the next episode. Keep looking for it next week. Y'all have a great one.
Paw boy.